you're doing the work and it's like exhausting mentally and you're like, why is nothing changing? And then you just keep doing it. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, whoa, yeah, we're going. Things are moving. Things are changing and shifting.
Well, hello there, prosperity seeker, and welcome to another episode of the Prosperity Approach. I'm your host, Allyson Chavez, and I am over the moon that you have joined me because I am doing a series about success stories with manifesting. And I want to talk to people who have used the prosperity approach successfully and the results that they've gotten in their lives and the experience that they have had with my method of the prosperity approach. And I am so excited to introduce you to today's guest. But before we get to her, if you're listening to the audio version of this episode, be sure you're following the podcast on your favorite app. And if you're watching this on YouTube right now, we would sure love it if you would subscribe and you'd hit the notification bell so you'll get alerted every time we drop a new episode. If you want to get new goodies, new resources, all for free on my website, go to allysonchavez.com. You can see when we're doing our next online workshop and all of the resources that we have for you there. And hey, I'm traveling now and I would love to speak at your event or an event of somebody that you might know. If my message will resonate with that audience, shoot me an email at clientcare@allysonchavez.com and I would love to be connected. So today I am really excited to speak with a fellow ginger, Makenzie Quintana. Hello, lovely. How are you?
Hello, I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm so great. I'm better because you're here. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you.
So tell us, how long have you been using the prosperity approach?
Just over 2 years.
Yeah. Very cool. Yes. And I know people are like, okay, this is a series on success stories of manifesting. So what have you been successful in manifesting so far?
My funnest story with manifesting is my car, my family car. Do you want me to share?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, share the story.
We were traveling, visiting family. And on the way there, I'd, been talking to my husband about some of these things that I've been learning with the prosperity approach and different things. And we talked about how, we'd been talking for a while that we wanted to get a new car. And while we were on this trip that we were on visiting family, he was like, well, let's start looking at let's do this. And I was like, okay, yeah, we can start. I was kind of like, okay, yeah, we'll start looking. And so he starts looking at cars. We're on, like I said, a trip visiting family. And the plan was I was going to stay with my family and he was going to head back home to work. And he was like, after I don't know, a couple hours of looking at cars, he was like, hey, I found this car that looks like exactly what we're wanting. And I was like, okay. We hadn't been really saving money for a car or anything. It was something that we wanted, but it wasn't necessarily this, we're going to do this. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I think I'm going to, when I go home, I'm just going to go straight to the dealership and check it out. And I was like, okay. And so he went and we were looking at, we were texting back and forth and he was just like, I don't know. It was a little bit more than what we wanted to be able to spend as a down payment. And so I was looking at numbers and trying to figure out how we could make it work. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, no, this is not how this works. Allyson teaches that there doesn't have to be struggle. And I am struggling trying to figure out how to make this work. And so I know that this isn't the right one. This isn't our car. Or if it is, then something else is gonna pop in to make this easier because I'm having to push to get this car right now. Mm-hmm. And so I told my husband that, and I was like, I'm not there with you, but whatever you think, but this feels, it needs to be easier. It doesn't have to be this hard. And I had, prayed about it. And that was the message that I got from God as well, that it was gonna work out and it wasn't going to be a huge deal. And so I messaged him that, and he kind of went to bed that night a little bit discouraged. And I was staying hopeful. And the next morning he went back to the dealership and saw another car very similar to the one that we had been looking at, but at a much lower price point. And it worked out that it was exactly what we had hoped and planned to put as a down payment. And it just was click, done. And it's been the best car for us. And like I said, it was probably 2 or 3 days that we went from maybe like, oh, maybe we'll look into getting a car to like, oh, we have a car. Wow.
Okay. So first of all, there are so many parts of the story that I absolutely love. What I love the most is that you're working with me and your husband is the one that's like, let's do this. And you're like, do we though? Okay. Like he's like running with all of this. And so that makes me laugh. I had forgotten about that part. That is so funny.
Like he was like totally like, well, doesn't Allyson say this? And I was like, yes, she does. Okay.
I found that husbands either just really are irritated with me because their wives say Allyson says this and that, and the other, or they're like, come on, honey, doesn't she teach this? The opposite of what you're doing. So I love your husband so much. But you know what I really love is that you were in awareness that you started struggling and it was getting hard and you were pushing. And a lot of people, because what we're taught is to like push through it, right? You know, and you had the thoughts, how are we going to make this happen? And that runs so counter against the prosperity approach and really the true process of manifestation. But it's such a temptation to continue pushing because then, you know, I mean, your husband was the one who was seeing the car. So like he's picturing himself in the car. He's already smelled the interior. It is like driven it, you know, so he's already had that level of ownership that you haven't had, thankfully, because you were able to like be detached from it and realize, no, actually there's something better. And that is, that's a hard temptation for people to pull away from, is that push and make it happen and figure it out and all of that. And oh my gosh. And like 3 days, it did 3 days.
It was
like
so fast. And it was just like, the whole time I was like, I just kept having to go to like, this is going to work out. I know this is going to work out. It's going to be easy. It's going to be like and it's continued to be that way. Like we haven't struggled to make the payments on it. Like it's been so great.
Yes. And you know, that was one of my big requirements too, when we were getting into like my first dream car and now my Tesla dream car, was that the payments have to be easy and joyful to make every month. And that helped me pull off of like, it can't be above this dollar amount, or it can't be above this interest rate, or like whatever that is. I was like, no, the criteria is it's got to be easy and joyful for me to pay for every month. And you took that on as well. So good for you. Good for you. That is awesome.
Thank you.
So one thing I like to really remind people is they get really caught up in the results of manifesting, and yours came fast, and they can come fast, but there are always inner shifts that happen first before the outer manifestation, because that is the last part in the process. So did you notice any inner shifts happening with you in this whole process of the car, for example?
Oh, for sure. I had to 100% let go of the ways and the things that I had been taught around money. Because like I said, we hadn't been saving, and we hadn't been doing all the things that you're supposed to do before you buy a car. And so I really had to, which I had been learning with you through the prosperity approach and your programs and stuff, that like, how money really works, and that I have to give it a purpose. And so, and then it will come rather than the other way around. And so I had to really, I had been learning that and practicing that in small ways, building up to this experience with the car, for sure. That was one, definitely my level of trust in my Heavenly Father, and my ability and my confidence in myself in communicating with him, because that was something that I prayed before. I my whole life I've prayed, but I don't think I had ever prayed, or I've ever had the communication and the intimacy and experience that I have with my Heavenly Father, with my higher powers, now that I had before. And so to be able to go to my Heavenly Father and be like, is now the right time? Like, is this it? Are we supposed, like, is this the right car for us? Is this the right time? And to get the answer, yes. And to just trust that I have no idea how this is going to work out, but he said yes, so it's going to work out. Like that took a lot of undoing some things that I had learned and practicing new things, and those internal shifts that you're talking about, for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So do you mind sharing with us? I love this God aspect that you've brought into it, because I absolutely believe in co-creating with Heavenly Father. So how does he say yes to you? Like, how did you recognize it was a yes?
I felt excited. I felt scared, but also sure. Like it wasn't this like, oh, I don't know, scariness. It was like, oh yes, okay. And again, it was through practice. The way that I pray is through journaling. I write out my prayers and kind of receive conversation back and forth through writing. And that had been something that I had been practicing for a while, and getting comfortable and confident in the answers that I'm receiving, and trusting that the answers were in fact from him.
I love that. What a beautiful way to get answers is through journaling, for sure.
Yes, yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay. What else have you manifested successfully in the last 2 years? Certainly it wasn't just a car.
That was fun. And then I've just had really good continual steady growth in my business, which is something that it hasn't been as flashy of an experience as this car, but it's just been really good, steady, gradual growth. Before I started learning about this, I dreaded waking up every day. I dreaded going to bed because I didn't want to wake up the next morning and face just another monotonous day. And I don't feel that way anymore. I get excited to wake up and see what I'm going to create, and see what miracles are going to unfold that day. And I guess that's not like a manifestation, but it's something that I longed for before, was excitement and fulfillment.
I actually think that is absolutely part of manifestation, but we make the physical part the end all be all of manifesting. But being able to wake up excited and looking forward to the day, and going to bed fulfilled, or having those experiences throughout the day being fulfilling experiences, I really think women especially crave that. Yeah. I remember a time in my life where the only thing I wanted was peace. That was it. I just want peace in whatever form it's going to come. And I thought it would come in the form of money. And then I realized, well, actually peace is an inside job, just like the fulfillment and the excitement and all of that. So I really appreciate you speaking into the intangibles, because those are, I think, more important than the tangibles. So I love that. Sure. Okay, we got to talk about your business for just a second, though, because you said really great steady growth in your company. And that's actually the best kind of growth to have, because if you grow too fast, it causes a lot of problems. Trust me, it causes a lot of problems when you grow too fast. So tell us what your business is, because I want people to be able to connect with you if they're having a need that your business fulfills.
Oh, thank you. So I help, similar to my experience, I help mothers who are feeling stuck in the day-to-day of what it is to be a wife and a mom, and let go of the guilt around wanting more, and just stepping into a life of growth and purpose. And I do that through makeup, which seems like how, but yeah, I have a makeup company that it's just a phenomenal product because it's quick and easy. And so it's really it's achievable for everyone to be able to get the look that they want. And so it's moms who are busy with little kids, or, business women or whatever, busy. We're all busy, all women, right? We're busy. And so
we are.
To just be able to have something quick and easy to throw on and help you feel more like yourself, more confident in your own skin and your own beauty. And who can stop the confident woman, right? Like
nobody,
no one. So yeah, that's what I do.
I love it. And you know what? True confessions. I didn't actually know how to put on makeup until I was in my 40s. Really. And I'd worn makeup since I was like 11 because I loved it so much. So I would sneak out and like put makeup on before I go to 6th grade. But contouring was so foreign to me and so overwhelming to me. I didn't know how to wear makeup until literally till I was 40. So I love that. Okay. So give us your IG handle so people can connect with you if they're like, oh my gosh, if someone can teach me how to wear makeup and actually feel like a woman again.
Yeah.
And
I was the same way too. I didn't used to be a makeup person. When I hear myself talk about how I love makeup, I'm like, who even am I? Because I didn't used to, same thing, contour and all the things. I was like, what? But yeah, I make it easy. So my IG handle is the.genuine.ginger. So the genuine ginger with some periods in between.
Awesome. So yeah, if you're liking what Makenzie is doing, definitely connect with her. So Makenzie, what do you think is the hardest thing about manifesting or about the prosperity approach? What was the hardest thing for you?
I'd probably say 2 things. The first one was letting go of everyone else and the judgment that I thought they would have towards me, and doing things differently. And having these different thoughts, because it is very different from the way that most of us grow up thinking. And along those same lines, it's letting go of looking at at my surrounding circumstances to tell me where I am and what I'm capable of doing and who I am. In the prosperity experience, we learn to visualize the life that we want, and that's it, the end. And just kind of, that is our life. That is our reality. And so when circumstances are yelling at me that like, no, it's not because XYZ, it takes a lot of practice, and it was very hard, and it still is an ongoing practice to shut off those voices and those circumstances that are telling me that this isn't going to work. Like I said, with for example, the car, like how we haven't been saving. How is this going to work? And to just go like, I don't know. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to look at my bank account to tell me whether I can have this car or not, because God told me that I can. And so stepping into that, and just practicing that. And like I said, it's an ongoing thing for sure.
It is. We never arrive. We never arrive, not on this planet. And I have to continually remind myself, look around less, imagine more, especially when things are in a lot of upheaval, because our circumstances are so compelling and they're so addicting. And so then we try to change our circumstances by manipulation and working really hard. And because that's what we're taught. And that's actually easier for us to do, but we don't get the results we want. We certainly don't have the experience that we want doing it, but it's doing the exact opposite. Like we skip the how and we go to the end, and how are you going to feel? And there are lots of techniques that you got to put in place to let go of. Yeah, but what if it doesn't work? Or yeah, but how do I do this? Or, like all of the yeah, buts are out, all of the worries and all of that. So it becomes, it's an intricate little dance, I think, this whole manifesting thing. But
for sure.
Yeah.
But you have so many tools. Like, I feel like every time I was like, but Allyson, this, you'd be like, try this. I'm like, oh, that worked. I'm like, wait, but now this, you're like, try this. I'm like, oh, but that's not the same thing. It's okay. Try it. It'll work. I'm like, oh, it did work. Like, you had so many tools. Like you met me where I was, and like, it was, you were phenomenal. You continue to be phenomenal at all times.
Thank you. Well, the tool is only as good as the hand that wields it, and you picked it up and you used it. And so like, you are such a beautiful example of somebody who implements, which is so gorgeous and so much fun to see.
Thank you.
Very inspiring. It's very inspiring to me. So what one thing would you tell somebody who maybe has a hard time manifesting?
So I would say you have to, like I said, it is a lot of this mental work. That's probably the hardest piece, is the mental work. And for me, I just had to get to the point where I was like, I'm done staying where I'm at. I'm tired of feeling unfulfilled. I'm tired of going to bed, not wanting to wake up. And I mean, I wasn't like suicidal or anything like that, but, and so I had to make my desire to grow stronger than my desire to stay comfortable and to just not do the work.
Yeah.
And so it does. At first you feel like you're doing the work, and it's like exhausting mentally, and you're like, why is nothing changing? And then you just keep doing it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, whoa, yeah, we're going. Things are moving, things are changing and shifting, and so it's having the determination to do it, like you said, to implement these things that we learn, and keep going even when you may not be noticing any huge shifts on the outside.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's that perseverance piece, right?
Yeah.
And and one thing I want to bring out is that the inner shifts that you experience, like your level of trust in yourself, your level of trust in God, like that was going on. And I think that as you are aware of those inner shifts, then it makes the persevering so much easier to do. And then the outer shifts come seemingly from nowhere, and always in really fun and unexpected ways. So, Makenzie, this has been so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me show you off and share you with my
Anytime.
audience. I love it. And if any of you are wondering, like, gosh, how do I do that? And I want somebody that's going to guide me through that too. Click on the link below and fill out an application to talk with a member of Team Prosperity. We've got you. We want to see where you're at. We want to see where the gaps are. Maybe we can help you close some. Maybe we have some things that would be a good fit for you. Maybe not. I don't know. We won't know until we talk about it and see where you're at. So click on that link below, schedule a free, totally free consultation call with a member of Team Prosperity, and let's see if we can help make manifesting as simple and as effective for you as it has become for Makenzie. So, my darling, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you, all of you.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much. And remember, everyone, until next time, prosperity becomes you.